Hello and welcome to another thing to look at. This time we will be, and I need to click on myself so you can see the screen. This time we'll be continuing on the adventure through astrologer.com. The thing we didn't finish last time. With me today, we have Smelly, who is on actual internet and will actually be able to read stuff. And
I can see today.
Good. He's
yeah,
more like a
you
blind.
can
Yeah, we have cured blindness. We also have other people, including Rhetoric&Discourse and ChocolateHat.
Yay.
And I think PurpleDan, I'm not entirely sure, we have PurpleDan good.
We have
professionals. And I have fear. Let's go. I went back and watched the last few minutes to find out how far we got last time. We read, I think we read this part, and so we're basically here.
Hey, Micro, you still sound like a field reporter that is running through a windstorm.
Oh fuck. Well, I have mic issues. Let me just see if I can fix that.
Okay.
Yeah, he let this guy Mike come over, and he's been wrecking up the place.
Mike is an asshole.
Get it? Because Mike issues. Yeah, Mike is a dick. What a dick. I've been watching. Okay, so what's that guy's name? Slazo or some shit? He's a YouTuber.
No idea.
Oh, he better come back quick because I think. Okay. Well, anyway.
How do I sound now?
Pretty good.
Good.
He's one of your copy paste reaction or semi-new. He's like iDubbbz a little bit.
Yeah, fucking hate those people.
But he's new. I think he's from New Zealand. Like that's his appeal. He's a Kiwi.
I've yet to understand the appeal of any of that. But
well, he's actually pretty funny, and he does a lot of.
Does he actually do something? Besides, sit there with his webcam and put the video at the corner.
Oh, dude, he doesn't do reactions like that. It's more like stuff going on. It's like YouTube news, but not like that douchebag, Gnome Star or whatever.
Oh yeah.
No, he's kind of like.
I'm assuming you can see me.
Yes,
we can hear you. Yes. But anyway, yeah, he's good. I've been watching a lot of his videos, and he just does corny, weird shit, and it's funny.
We kind of have a show to do.
Yeah, but you were gone, and we had to fill that space.
We're trying to fill in the dead air.
I was gone for a fraction of a second.
Don't you fucking yell at us when this is all your fault. Don't you turn that around.
Look, I've been listening to a lot of 80s new wave. You don't want to get me all emotional right now.
It is not my fault. It's the fault of the stars.
Don't make me bust out with some Duran Duran, bro.
Yeah, we're obviously reviewing this site at the wrong time of the year. The sun isn't quite aligned to help us out here.
Apparently not. I think Smelly should start out by reading the thing I've highlighted. Since he can now
because I saw the word smoke tobacco as I smoke a cigarette, so I think it's fitting. All right, so the goodness of being able to hear me. Unnecessary for impossible or harmless practices. Some have nightly argued. What? Oh, rightly. The text is kind of bleeding together a little bit. Let me there we go. Okay. I know. I just realized that.
Do you want me to zoom in?
Yes, just one click up with your.
There we go.
There you go. Perfect. Some have rightly argued that you don't have to smoke tobacco or experience slavery, or even commit suicide to be able to make strong comments about the practice. True.
How is this an argument? Who argues against this?
It gets better.
Yeah.
And who's sitting there no, you will let me smoke.
Who's literally defending
cancer?
Yeah, who's strongly for the counter argument? Anyway, However, studying an analysis of your character, like reviewing the results of a psychological test, is not a risk to your health or life. Would you rank the opinion of a travel writer who has never left home, or someone who has. Okay. A doctor should, where possible, examine his or her patient to help reach a diagnosis. Okay, yeah, that's true.
Who has no one in the history of everything has ever used like saying that it's harmful towards astrology.
But here's the
a straw man.
Here's the weird. Someone needs to help me out with the logical fallacy that's going on here, because I mean, maybe I'm being a little broad with this or a little too general, but don't most of the people that strongly ascribe to these ideas typically believe in things like, I mean, again, I'm painting with a super broad brush, but you find that a lot of them also practice homeopathy or integrative medicine and shit. And a lot of the practitioners, or at least some of them, are just phony enough to advocate going off these practices.
Yeah. Well, this might be a little bit of a slippery slope, but this is one of the steps to becoming full nutter.
Like, yeah, well, yeah, exactly. There we go. Yeah, it's not necessarily intrinsically tied to the idea that they already have these beliefs or will develop these beliefs, but it's typically the starting point.
Yeah, it's like it's like how most flat earthers started off as truthers.
Yeah, they are literally implying that someone has used this argument against them.
Like, yeah. But my point was, it's funny that it's bullshit, and it's kind of the reason why I made that point was because a lot of these people that ascribe to this are practitioners of things that would advocate you going off traditional medicine. Which
it is a small step into other wootardness.
Is it an implied conspiracy?
It's a bit of a nut alert. If you meet somebody and the first thing they say is like, I'm a Gemini or something, you instantly know that they're a bit crazy, and they probably...
It's the same thing if you walk into someone's home and they have crystals all over the place, and they aren't PurpleDan. Then you kind of...
There's an old soul
joke.
There is an old soul song, or maybe it was right before disco. I just remember hearing it growing up. There's an old song that I want to say it's a soul song.
It's a
from
song.
This group, and they did like parts, like boy band parts, and they would come up to the mic and they'd introduce themselves. But funny enough, the first thing they would mention is their sign. Not their name or anything like that. It was like, Gemini, my name is Mike. And it's like,
maybe that was a station.
Just Google it. Just put in soul song that starts with them mentioning their astrological sign, and I guarantee it'll come up somewhere.
Well, people do put a decent amount of value into it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude, I got a friend that swears by it.
People know their star sign, but not their blood type.
Yeah.
Who loves being told your quote unquote personality type?
I know.
By somebody asking you, what sign are you?
Yeah, I don't even. So for the longest time, I didn't know mine until I had to know what mine was, because when I turned 21 in the States, I started out going to bars and stuff. And one of the things that they would ask me to make sure that I actually had like my driver's license is they'd ask me what my sign was, my astrological sign. And at one point, I'm just sat there, I'm like, how the fuck should I know? Like, I know what my birthday is. Why should I know my sign? And he just like, the guy just sat there like, you don't like, why would, this is useless knowledge to me.
See,
So
I
then
always
had to learn it.
remembered
Yeah.
what year I was
So I
born
bet you
in.
don't know your moon sign and your rising sign then, do you, either?
Yeah. I was like,
No, it's still on the table, dude. Oh, okay. I thought you said, do I know where it's at? Oh, I did not.
We have now gone off to a tangent that isn't even on.
yeah, it's not even in this conversation.
Yeah, y'all just heard, hey, insight to my life. I have a roommate.
I almost want to say I'm sorry, but who wants to read the next one?
Bye, Dan.
Oh, poor Dan.
Okay, I think
Dan's internet is shit.
Yeah, he said he would be. All right. How can you
I think
experience
somebody
astrology?
oh.
God damn it, Smelly. Son of a bitch. Kidding. All right. Since some of the free horoscopes on the web are not ideal examples, you would need to select a professional service who will charge you a fee. Can we just equivalent to the cost of a shirt?
That is such a weird.
What the cost to a jacket or even a suit? Though, sorry, I skipped ahead. But the equivalent cost of a shirt is ridiculous too, because there are many different types of shirts that cost different things.
Like, are we talking dollar store shirt, or are we talking about
Why? Yeah, but why use that?
Yeah,
why
even
use something like that? Just use say between this and this much.
Yeah, you should only rely on horoscopes that cost you between $20 and $30. Anything below that, you're being scammed or something.
If it's the homeless person doing it for a couple of bucks on the street, he's probably not telling you the truth.
Yeah.
Well, think about it from the attorney's point of view. If he takes that broad statement and is taken up, and they're taken up on charges for overcharging or whatever, if he brings in a shirt from Prada or Gucci that's $250, it's a nice little that's a loophole right there. That's a one case and one for the record books.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see.
I mean, there's wiggle room for you.
It's very arbitrary way of measuring money, especially because we have a perfectly good way to measure money.
Called money.
Yeah. Money. I'll do it for money.
It's like an architect being like, let's measure this in bricks today instead of feet. It's like, why? We have
no, it's not even that. It's not even that. It's like saying, oh, we're going to measure this in breadsticks.
Yeah. Fucking A. How many breadsticks do I have to cut off this piece of wood?
3.5.
Oh, goodness. Okay. For computer oh my goodness, for a computer generated report or a higher fee equivalent to a jacket or even a suit.
Okay, that is okay. When I read ahead, I read ahead and I was completely dumbfounded by this because I recently bought a jacket because everybody knows that lives in the South. The best time to buy a jacket is when nobody needs a fucking jacket. And that's 90% of the year in this area. But the point is, I can get a jacket for $20 that during the winter season is $120.
Yep.
So, and even with that metric to base it by, suits can be expensive as fuck. Even a cheap suit is over
even a cheap suit. Looking I was gonna say, I think the cheapest I could buy a suit would be $200.
Yeah, if you're looking for your Sunday's best.
I had a tuxedo suit for $5 in a charity shop. Yeah, you can pay over $1,000 for them if they're made by tailors.
Yeah.
I mean that's.
So they need to specify. Are we going to a resale shop to get our suit? Because I could grab one for $50.
They don't need to specify. They just need to say.
They just put the money amount.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what
no one. Yeah, to go back to the comparison we made before. Nobody says, "Hey, I'm going to sell you a cruise for exactly however many monies can fit into a grocery bag."
I think they need to measure it in milk cartons. How many milk cartons can you buy?
Oh my god!
Come on! The first time I ever heard I weigh 2 or 7 stone, I was like, "How are you weighing yourself in stone?"
No, that is
because I didn't realize. I didn't know that though. I was not aware of this measurement style. So when I heard it, I was just like, British people are measuring themselves in rocks. Sweet.
Okay, completely off topic here. Did you know that the shoe sizes in at least in the UK? Do you know what the unit they're measured in are? There actually is a unit for it. They're measured in barley corns.
Barley corns?
It is. It's true.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it's based off. You know, the same as feet in America used to be actual feet. In the UK, shoe sizes, it's barleycorns.
Okay, so I'm grabbing my shoe here. All right, so I wear.
Well, I think US sizes is different than UK sizes.
No. It has it. Vans have all of the conversions for pretty much every region. All right, so in men's I wear 10.5s. In the UK, I wear 9.5.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I wear a shoe that's the equivalent of 9.5 barley stones. Or barley.
You see the thing?
Corn.
In Japan.
Okay, sorry, I thought it was food.
They do this really strange system in Japan where they use millimeters or centimeters.
How is that strange?
How is that weird? That actually makes more sense.
That makes a lot more
sense. The completely
sense.
arbitrary set that Americans use.
Yeah, no, that was the joke. It's in Japan they do it sensibly. Okay.
I have no idea what that. I have no idea what that's based on in Denmark. Like in daily sizes, I wear like a size 43. So, anyways, astrology.
Yeah, in the European, I think I wear. I forgot already, but 44 or 45 and a half.
The size 9.5 UK is about 43.4.
We're now talking about shoe sizes. Yes.
Yeah, but those things make sense whenever you price them out because they just tell you up front how much they cost.
Yeah. It's not our fault we got
these shoes are $40.
Yeah,
that is my fault. I completely admit that.
It's a site who fucking started us off on clothes.
Cheers.
Like, gotta fucking measure money in clothes.
Holy shit.
Money.
Is it really a blessing or a burden that my mic is working?
It's all right. We could use tangents.
All these tangential jumps have been because I haven't had to be quiet.
This show, the foundation of this show is tangents. It's part website, part tangents, a tiny bit of actual debunking on top.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are.
And if you think any preparation goes into any of these shows, other than like just the most basic and bare bones, like scanning through, you're very, very wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, I have more beer now. We can continue.
Usually with these sites, we find them, and it's usually within the first seconds we find something just seriously stupid. So it's like there's got to be more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
with Quantum Man, that was just obviously stupid.
I kind of wanna get to a certain part, like the mechanisms part, because there's some quite hilarious things in that. So,
okay.
I'll
finish
this part.
Yeah, I'll finish measuring money with fucking clothing items here. Okay, so if you pay for the equivalent of a jacket or even a suit for a live reading of your birth chart from a top astrologer, please do not use my services, as I do not want you to think this is a sales pitch. Yep.
Or you could just like have written, you don't, but of course you don't have, like, you just have written, you don't have to use me, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're actively saying, don't give me money.
Don't give me money. What's so wrong about that? Give this asshole money.
This is all reverse psychology.
Yeah.
Oh, it fucking is.
Oh yeah, I mean, look at how honest he is. He tells me not to go to him. He must be super honest. He can't be making this shit up.
This is totally
a good. Yeah, because it's like you're already on his website. He's offering his services in some capacity. It's like if you're at a Foot Locker buying shoes. Yeah, I'm bringing shoes back into this bitch. If you're at Foot Locker buying shoes, and you could get your Nikes there, and there's 11 miles away, would you let them sell you a pair of shoes that you have to go somewhere for? No, fuck that. I'm already here. You seem like a credible source.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm seeking out that service, why the fuck would I go anywhere else? This seems convenient at this point.
There's shoes here.
I've made it this far. Why would I abandon? You don't jump ship after you've already started making love to the captain.
I've made it this far. Makes it sound like it's been like a quest to get to the shoe stall.
I feel like I'm going to mention shoes 1,000 times, and I'm going to force it too. I'm going to find a way to push shoes. By the way, today's show is brought to you by Reebok, Nike, and basically anyone we could sell our soul to.
Yep.
If any of you hear this,
if any of you hear us and want to sponsor us,
fine.
Yes, especially those at ASIC.
Shoe jokes.
ASICs suck. Why? No.
That's why I don't.
You know what?
think
No.
The most.
Well, shoe jokes it is.
Well, look. Okay, so I think that the title of the next section is very intriguing, and as Micro said, we have places to go and
Places to get to.
people
and
to see.
shoes to buy.
We have to live stream our masturbation later, so. Oh, I mean, accidentally. Sorry, I forgot Twitch has rules.
I was gonna say, this isn't Twitch.
Accidentally set up a live show on Pornhub. Somehow, I don't know how it happened.
Yeah, I don't even have an account.
So
Anyway, PurpleDan is back, and we have more ways to arbitrarily deviate now. So let's try to push forward.
All right.
Brilliant.
Okay, I'll finish this real quick. Yes, it is a cost, but this is a small price to add to your experience. You can also study astrology through library books.
That's not really studying them. That's more just reading.
Yeah.
Well, but here's the thing. I'm curious to know when this was written because, I mean, let's be honest. Who's going to a library anymore? Unless you're a college student. Unless you're a college student that needs somewhere quiet to break the law, or a homeless person looking for shade in the hot sun.
2010.
That happens
I
in
think.
Houston a lot.
Can you guys hear me?
No, wait, no, it
Yes.
has. Yeah, we can.
Hey,
Yes, we can hear you. You sound like a smooth jazz presenter for NPR.
So, it has.
Up next, we have two lesbians playing drums.
I think it's been in 2011. That's at least the highest year I've seen. 2012. I think they've been updating it. 2014.
There's 2014. Yeah.
So, I just spent, like, it looks like nearly half a fucking hour just to get everything right, yeah. And it seems the only thing I should have done is just install the standalone Google Hangouts app. And now it works. Great. Audio is good.
Well,
Everything.
Dan,
So you've been trashing your internet for so long, and it turns out that you done goofed.
Well,
Is that what you're saying?
yeah, well, look, no, if I use the app through Chrome, then it's a fuck up. But if I just use the
Ah,
standalone, it works great.
well,
see, I have the reverse problem.
section.
Audio sounds so nice now. I can actually enjoy listening to you cunts, which is good.
Well, yeah, and you sound like you're actually talking and not, being muffled and kidnapped.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure
It's
that's
one big happy family.
yeah. So where are we? What are we even reading? Astrologer. What is
We
this?
are.
The thing we started on last time,
When
We
was
just
this?
got through a.
which was like
Not.
3 weeks ago.
Oh God. Okay.
astrology.
Well, we just got done reading a
About
not
shoes.
an advertisement, totally an advertisement.
And we're not
And a
attending
guy
about
making-
shoes.
It's shoes, yeah, exactly. Oh my God, shoes. Let's bring up that meme from.
Oh my goodness, that
7
thing's
years
so
ago.
old. That's way more than so. That's like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
I was still in
that's
college.
Man, back in my day,
Well, yeah. Yeah, no, that's just like
the internet
2005.
back when
man.
I was a young lad.
That was when YouTube was like the hip new thing.
New to the internet, YouTube, embarrass yourself. The early days of YouTube were just people doing the weirdest shit. Nobody knew what to do with it. It just seemed like a place to upload like family reunion videos.
I never had that because back then I didn't even have internet.
The only reason why I got into YouTube in its early days was there's a band called Sleep Terror, and they were one of very few metal bands that were uploading songs to YouTube.
They were progressive.
So that's where I listened to their stuff.
That's pretty cool, though.
Because I was too cheap to buy.
Quality on the early videos must be terrible.
Oh, it was shit. It was god awful.
No, I had the same thing. I got into going on YouTube to listen to music from people who didn't own their albums or whatever, and really bad live recording, really bad mobile phones.
Someone have like a little bell that you hear on the old ships. You know that the dock bell.
A fog bell?
No, I think he means a bell to get everyone up on deck to do stuff.
Yeah, because a boat, sailboat.
I think I know what he means.
You guys
think he's trying to imply that we should move on.
No.
No, okay.
Like quite the opposite. I'm actually busy with this tangent. Sailboat. I'm talking about Pirate Bay. This is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about pirating the shit out of your music. Stealing it.
You mean like LimeWire
I was trying to beat around the bush, but obviously this is not working. So, guys.
We at Taking a Look
Steal
At
your
would
music.
like to totally not advocate, but totally advocate stealing stuff.
Steal your music.
Moving
Don't
on.
steal,
Unless it's children. Don't
games.
steal
Don't steal programs. Steal music.
No. What I want y'all to do is I want y'all to get acquainted with a thing called File Chef. It basically just searches for Linux dump parent directories, and you can usually find pretty decent music and movies. And I said dump, which also means to take a poop.
You
You can find movies and music and TV shows, and most of it's in MKV format. So download VLC if you don't have it. You know what I'm saying?
As long as you don't steal children. Don't steal children.
That's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Hey, don't diddle kids.
They're noisy and their parents start looking for them.
Yeah.
It's just a whole mess. It's not worth it.
Yeah,
And you have to bury them in the garden, and
It's only a crime if they're reported stolen or missing.
I think it's
if they're not
technically
reported,
crime,
really
no
good.
matter what.
Well, no, if they didn't get reported, you probably rescued them from a family rather than
Hey,
taking them from a family.
It's technically not a crime if you murder all of the witnesses. So
Pretty sure that's just more crime.
This also works for stealing.
I mean, if no one knows you killed someone, did you actually kill someone?
Yes, you did.
that's like if a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound?
Yes, it does.
And the answer is yes, it does make a sound.
Yeah, it still moves.
So you're going to jail
Oh God! No, you're
eventually,
not.
or maybe you'll get away with
Dan,
it. Shit, they never
Dan,
found
please
Zodiac.
read the next section.
Oh,
I'm gonna mute myself.
okay. No, never mute yourself. Look, is it actually micro?
Okay, I'll
Because this is a this
We
is
have read
great.
2 paragraphs since we started. Half an hour ago.
Fuck. Yeah, but you guys were just waiting for me. I appreciate that. Thank you.
No,
Why should?
no.
We had a great conversation.
No,
about-
just call it that. Move on.
Why should I pay? Why should I pay to have an opinion? The fuck? Why should I pay to have an opinion?
I think you mean get an opinion from someone else.
Unfortunately, to enjoy the lecture of dismissing an entire field of study, you have to invest in personal research. Experiencing astrology firsthand, suck my dick, will be a good value, and you might even learn something. I probably fucking doubt it. Astrologers have to pay to download data or subscribe to journals or purchase books so they can review flawed research papers to debunk astrology. Yeah, no, mate.
Wait.
You could just go on
What?
fucking.
Okay, so first off, didn't they say that you didn't have to do the thing in order to have an opinion about it? Wasn't there like that their argument like in section A?
No, in section A, they basically said that people have made those arguments about but it's harmful, and then but this isn't harmful. Something I have really know it like the last part like astrologers have to. Like this section C is so salty, especially the last part. like astrologers have to pay to download or subscribe to Jones and Pershing's book, so they can read flawed research that claims to debunk astrology. That is so bitter and salty.
I know,
Like,
right?
Yeah.
Kind of
you get the fact that later on this website, whoever's written it has gone through, and they've actually got references, I think, I seem to remember, to all these papers that claim to show flaws in astrology, and he's criticised them all, which is a step more than most astrologers, admittedly, but it's still, I don't know, his opinion.
that's like your opinion, man.
Yeah.
I can't do that
Yeah.
accent.
Hopefully we'll get to that point of the website where he goes through and looks at the papers, because it's
interesting, yeah.
it seems it's a step more than most of these woo merchants go to anyway.
Yep. Let's
So what
hope
kind
we
of
get
journals
to it.
buying?
Can I just point out, while we're here and we've not quite got a proper tangent yet,
Yay!
yeah, there's a picture, there's a little icon just to the right of all this text, and it says, it's got a picture of Darren Brown with the gun to his head doing the Russian roulette thing that he did live on TV. But the caption to it is, "Secrets behind a test of astrology by illusionist Darren Brown." So the little photo they've got of him has got absolutely nothing to do with any of the work he did on astrology.
Nope.
But if you look, but they've used a thing where he's got a gun to his head looking quite mean. It's almost like they're a bit bitter about Darren Brown as well.
Probably. And we lost Smelly, so maybe he ran out of internet.
Probably.
Oh dear. Oh well, let's
But
carry
no,
on.
I'll read the next thing. Objective data. Your personal horoscope is totally subjective. But why rely on the evidence of personal experience when you can also obtain objective data? Yeah, that I actually agree with that sentence. It is possible to analyze the charts of other people and compare them to your knowledge of their lives. Though this is best done professionally, it is possible. Wow, I can't read. It is possible to do some basic interpretations by referring to astrology books. I really can't read this. So I'm not even sure what the point of this
the
this
point
section
is,
was.
I'd love to see if anyone's actually done this, because I'm sure this would it wouldn't go well for astrologers, where you get a professional astrologer who supposedly knows what they're doing. You give them a birth chart of somebody, and they tell you specific points about that person. Now, what I'd like to see is that done with a bunch of different astrologers to see if they get anything specific about those birth charts that actually relates to a person's character.
Well, it's
But,
like
that's
the thing. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so what they're basically saying is that according to astrologer theory, if you give the birth chart to a professional astrologer who knows what they're talking about, they'll be able to precisely not only define the characteristics of a person, but aspects of what they look like too. That's the claim. It doesn't say it here, but having read some books on astrology, that's what they tend to claim to be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
What is your birth charts, though?
It's basically like a horoscope is basically like an abstract version of a birth chart. It's a horoscope, like really needlessly complicated thing you do.
It's a map.
Yeah.
It's a map of the solar system, and it measures not only the place where it allows the astrologer not only to kind of just see where the sun is in relation to the year, which is the obvious sun sign thing, but it allows you to map angles between the different celestial bodies, and these angles are somehow significant apparently to a person's character according to birth sign theory, if you want to call it that.
I have to admit that you can make something look really fucking complex to make a lot of silly people believe you. But look at all this.
That is exactly what it is.
Look at all this form.
Plus,
look at all this
also-
science.
Yeah, it's true. You can make it look complicated. And what they do, I think, my guess is, from having looked at the way people, or at least read in books, the way people interpret birth charts, all these complicated angles and stuff, is you can get so specific, but it's almost like a Barnum statement. It's almost like a very big Barnum statement with all this overcomplicated stuff, and eventually, I think you lose the. I think you get lost in this overcomplicated stuff, and it sounds really great, and it just ends up being platitudes and common stuff and Barnum statements.
Well, isn't that thing that James Randi did, where he handed out the same exact horoscope to like a whole room of people?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
that's
all,
very
he asked them like, "Hey, do you agree with that horoscope?" And everyone's like, "Oh yeah, it says."
Because it's the most,
Really matches me.
like general statements that apply to everyone.
Yeah, it is, and that's what a horoscope is. But the thing is, what he's saying is that the birth chart is more than just the sun sign, which is what horoscope is, and its basic Barnum statement interpretation. This is a map. This is meant to be a very deep character map. So a skilled astrologer is, according to some authors on astrology, able to talk about very, very deep personal character trait, and even physical appearance as well, as some people claim.
Ridiculous.
Wow.
Yeah. But I'd be interested. I mean, that's what the claim is. That's what the theory says. And so what he's saying is, if you take an actual birth chart to a professional astrologer, they can tell you all sorts of specific information. But two things is one, is that consistent? Like if you take the same bunch of birth charts to a different bunch of astrologers, would you get precisely the same readback? And two, is it just a different way of doing really overcomplicated Barnum statements that sound even more specific just because we're talking about?
And three, would it actually be accurate? Because you could theoretically have them all come up with the same thing because they're all using the same system. But if it doesn't actually match what the person actually is like, what they're like and what they have experienced and how they look, well, then it's useless.
Well, exactly, yeah. And the clay, yeah. I'd love to actually see some proper tests of that. Maybe this guy's got them on this the website. He's got a lot of the famous.
Well, considering that that astrology isn't exactly plausible to begin with, I don't think anyone has seriously done that test.
Well, no, no, I don't think anyone has seriously done it. What there have been a lot of is that there have been a lot of kind of badly done and very biased tests done in a vaguely scientific way, and then people have written other papers to then criticize them, I think. And I think that's what we're going to see later. But you know, that's the bit I'm really looking forward to. You can tell. Shall we read on? Shall we do section 2?
Oh wait, go ahead.
Yeah, read on. I think it's your turn, Hat. Actually, I think you're the only one who hasn't read yet.
Yeah. Okay. No, I've not read yet. Is the 12-sign zodiac a viable model? Some critics claim that the sun. It's claimed that the signs of the zodiac are wrong as they have shifted, and some signs are missing.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that claim.
Let me guess. That just means it's more truthful because it changes.
No, it's dumber than that.
I don't know.
Is that the sun is actually not in the same bit of sky at the same time of the year as it was 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Is what they're saying. And I agree that criticism is misplaced if you are assuming that astrology is based on something which it's not. So It's all a bit of a nonsense argument. Anyway, this article shows how the zodiac can be applied in at least 3 ways.
That is not an argument for it. That is an argument that it's completely arbitrary and doesn't work.
Yeah, the Western tropical zodiac, based on the seasons.
That sounds like a group of islands, like a group of like tropical islands. Western tropical zodiac.
Yeah, well, no, that's the system that everyone is.
That's the system everyone is in the West is familiar with. Yeah.
Sidereal, I don't even know how to pronounce that. I've only ever read it. Sidereal.
Yeah,
Sidereal. Zodiac, which is almost the same, apart from it takes into account the wobble of the Earth's axis by referencing it to a far distant star, which is relatively fixed. And then I never did the third one. Even a theoretical constellation-based zodiac without signs, using the artificial boundaries defined by the International Astronomical Union.
Yeah, that is basically the International Astronomical Union has basically divided the sky into sections. It's used to so astronomers, not astrologers, astronomers. It's used so you have something. You have something to navigate the sky by. Like when you say that, this star is in this constellation. That's the system that's used. They're basically drawn squares around, not squares, drawn polygons around all of the major constellations, and it's a map. That is basically a map.
So yeah, okay, that sounds sensible. So
I've never heard it used in astrology.
No, I've never heard it used by.
That is pretty strange.
Yeah, but I can maybe see why they would do that, because it's less it's arbitrary, but it's more well defined than the traditional Western system. Perhaps because it's all a bit loose. It's all a bit. Anyway, the key point is that all 3 systems are viable models on the solar of the solar system.
No, that's not. They're not models of the solar system at all.
No, they're not. No, they're a map at best of the solar system. Anyway, so the signs of the zodiac are not the same as the constellations of the zodiac. Well, that's kind of true.
But it's also irrelevant. It's
exactly.
They're basically saying, "Oh, you've misunderstood. Misunderstood this thing. You don't understand this thing. Therefore, that is okay, but that's not an argument for your thing."
No, it's like saying, "Well, we don't wave our magic wands by saying abracadabra. What we do is we measure the height of it and the angle and the speed it travels between 2 angles." It's like, well, it's all irrelevant because magic wands are bullshit.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir. Apparently, you've never seen Harry Potter.
Right,
what happened, Smelly?
His mom called.
My roommate needed to use my phone. Well, that was what happened the first time, and then I had to go because my roommate lost his phone because he put it on silent. I always tell people, don't put that shit on silent when you're at home. That's how you lose phones.
That is why. Okay, yeah, a complete tangent here. Why put your phone on silent when you're at home?
I don't know. My ex used to do it, man. Whenever we, she had her phone on silent constantly, which
You need to finish the first sentence. She had it on silent whenever and then you stop the sentence. You need to finish that sentence.
Otherwise, we'll finish it all in our heads.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the end of the sentence. I didn't mean to add anything to the end. She just always had it on silent. Always.
But you said whenever and the logical conclusion.
We're at home. We're at home was the end.
You can kind of see where we went in our perverted heads.
No, I totally see it. But no, she had it on silent. My ex the one that I was with when I started doing all this, yeah, she had her phone on silent when she was at home for some reason. Now I'm seeing that it was suspicious.
My phone's on
and,
silent right now, but that's because I don't. Because
Well, okay, mine is on
but
silent
there's
now
purpose driven.
because I don't want to get sounds into the microphone because we're doing this very, very professional show.
extremely professional.
Yes, yes.
I mean, we all have working
The professional
microphones
list.
and working internet and everything.
Look, fact. The show is professional. Factor. Everyone here does professional work. Factist. We're all professionals. So I mean, duh.
Also, we are very good at English grammar.
We all really respect facts.
We all have X factor.
Wait, what?
The fact is,
We all love Simon Cowell. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, great.
All right.
What a,
Right,
what a cunt.
Well,
Wait,
okay.
what is,
gonna read-
what is the pseudoscience? There's some pseudoscience that he ascribes to.
Probably.
Who's this?
One of the judges on the.
Scientology or something.
Really?
What?
It was
No,
Probably.
no, that's
Well,
Tom
he's a-
Cruise.
Yeah.
From promoting pseudoscience. Hang on, blah blah blah.
Yeah, Simon Cowell.
I've
He
got it.
promotes some form of pseudoscience or something that's not healthy or something stupid. I can't remember exactly.
His show.
Intravenous
Yeah.
vitamins, apparently.
Oh, okay,
what?
yeah, that's what it is. Superdosing of
Intravenous
vitamins.
what?
Like vitamin superdose.
Oh, make it. Oh, so yeah.
But like
okay.
intravenously.
Yeah. Linus
He wants to
Pauling,
live out half
yeah.
of the part. He wants to live out half of Train Spotting, just not the heroin part.
Well, to be fair, that is like, if you're gonna live out half of Train Spotting, that is the half to choose. Like choosing the heroin.
Yeah,
part,
just the needles.
Life, choose that half of chain spotting.
Well, you know,
Those are fucking big.
I'd like to right now remind everybody that Irvine Welsh wrote a lot of books, and of which you should go read the one called Porno. It's very good.
Oh yeah. I've not read it. I've heard people rave on
No,
it.
it's-
You just want to
Yeah,
make
I
the
have
audience.
it.
You just want to make the audience type in search for porno in Google.
That is
No, I swear on my life. I promise you.
No,
The
it's
cover
true.
of the but it's funny that
having lived in
the
Scotland,
cover of the book is just.
everyone
Well,
raves on
he's
about
not
that.
the only. He's not the only fucking writer that does books that are basically about porno. That he had like a very weird title. There's a Chuck Palahniuk book that's called. What's it called? It's about a porno actress that basically gets gangbanged to death.
Sounds fun.
It's very
Dang,
good.
is this like your light reading before you go to bed?
I hope,
This is mostly shit that I read in high school. Like, he's old.
okay. You went in a much more PG version of that that I would have gotten.
I was just sharing books of love, bro.
No,
sharing
but
books
it's
of
more
love.
Honestly,
he
this
said,
Oh,
like,
snuff.
this
This
fucking
is not-
tangent
that's
is
Chuck
more
Palahniuk.
interesting. This tangent is more interesting than this website. I am so fucking bored.
That is the problem with half the
Well, that's
websites
how
that
we
we
keep-
pick. Is that
Look, They're
like-
about to quote Dawkins.
they are about to code Dawkins. I see that.
Yeah,
Oh,
I actually read one of the studies. They referenced this one. I read that. Went and read that. This section is pretty interesting.
Well, let's read the
So-
section then. There's a good day.
So I love that the only one who wants to move on with this is the only one of us who's actually done their research.
I got bored.
Is it my
Right, who's
turn
going to read? Maybe, okay, Micro, you read number 3.
Okay. Why time of birth and not time of conception? Which is actually a valid question.
Previous tangent as well.
Both
Oh, no,
critics and the curious frequently ask, why do astrologers work from the moment of birth rather than use the seminal moment, the time of conception? The simple answer is that we can know the time of birth, but we can't know the time of conception. That is not an answer.
I mean, it's an answer to why they do it, but it doesn't actually
Yeah.
answer the question of.
It answers like it misunderstands the question.
Yeah.
And
Sorry,
we just
I got a
went
phone
over.
call. And it
We
cut
just
me
went
off.
over that entire sentence and not giggling at the word seminal. How is that even possible on this show?
Because we are adults.
I
I mean,
said it
seriously.
because I
We're
caught the
adults
end of that.
here, so-
I mean,
I am
seriously.
insulted that you think I would giggle at
Penis. But then y'all all.
I read it. No. I read it. Butt plug.
And now the next
There.
paragraph is actually really interesting because it comes up with all sorts of conjectures that are obviously ludicrous.
Butt plug.
Okay, so Los Dodos.
I think
For the second. He's like, so, wait, what?
you
Cutting
kind
off
of cut
the-
out.
Of course I am, because I'm getting text messages and shit and having to use hotspot. Grr.
Stop being so goddamn popular,
Anyway.
Smelly.
Yeah.
It's almost like you have friends and shit.
Yeah.
I know, I mean,
Why can't you be like the rest of us? Sitting home
just
alone.
reclusive shut-ins?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm sitting alone with my version of beer.
You know
Green
how many
poison
adults are in
sold
my house
by-
right now? None.
I have no. Well, I mean, I have my roommate. I mean, he's my friend. But other than that, nobody else is here. Who owns Monster now? Doesn't like Coca-Cola own them?
Yeah. I have no idea what's going on now.
Right. As you can,
I.
there are plenty. I'm sorry, Mike, I stole it off you.
The
Did
worst
you
of
want to read
times.
it?
It was the worst of times.
Come on, read.
I'll continue. As you can imagine,
As you
there
can
are
imagine, there.
plenty- That could be fun. Right.
On three, let's hear a chorus
Yeah.
of people who don't know what they're doing.
1, 2, 3.
As you can
As you
imagine, there are plenty of conjectures.
Okay, this is just going to be a cacophony of. So let's just let one person read.
You always hate having fun, don't you?
The Hellenic Stoics believed that the spirit or spark, the pneuma, became ensouled with the first breath. Long 2001, apparently. I'm going to right-click that.
Oh yeah.
Some astrology. Antenatal period as developmental and physical separation from the mother as the start of consciousness, of self as an entity. I'm not sure that stands up to rigorous test.
I would posit that I'm not even sure if I would consider well, okay, newborn babies and developing fetus are conscious in the same way that they're not in the sense that they're not passed out and they're not asleep. But like I'm not sure I would necessarily consider them like newborn babies are pretty stupid. Like they're not they're not self-aware.
No. It takes a little while of development before they even get to that point, doesn't it?
Yeah, but in any case, I mean the level of consciousness between almost ready to be born baby and a newborn baby isn't really that much different.
Well, no, because they display signs of being able to function before they get born because they kick and they tumble and they engage their head. That's instinct, or maybe that's like the mother's body. I don't know personally on that one, but
I mean, it
also
wouldn't make sense because if they didn't have it, like if they had it, they only got it the moment they were born. What were all the development for?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what you're all saying is that my theoretical and hypothetical infant workforce is not really practical.
No, you
Well,
need,
no,
you need
but
at least
yeah,
some
yeah.
training.
Yeah, that is what we're saying, but that's more because infants are terrible workers.
I mean, what are you gonna? They can't even
Yeah,
care.
they unionize. I just
They
can't. I
can't.
can't deal with it.
They
You have to wait
they
until they're at
can't
least 5.
stand.
No, history has shown that you have to wait until they're about 5 or older to be able to put them to useful work.
Yeah.
Unless
Sounds like
At
that
least
is
you let them
experience.
get
You
object
growing-
permanence.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's
And
true.
anyway-
They need to be able to remember what things are.
Well, they can at 2.5, I'm sure. Anyway,
Hey, look,
others-
that table's been there for a week. It's reasonable to assume that it's still
Yeah.
there.
I think mine started doing that before. What? Anyway, others speculate. I'm reading on here, by the way. Others speculate that at birth. Oh God, I made a crap job of that. Others speculate that at the birth moment, there is a celestial imprint of an energy field with various models, such as the auric field, or, and I personally love this, Sheldrake's morphic field. Proposed.
Me too. Oh, who doesn't love a good
everyone
lecture on
should know what
morphic
I think of
resonance?
Rupert Sheldrake. Yeah, everyone ought to know what I think of Rupert Sheldrake's morphic bloody field.
Yes.
I think the word bloody there was an indicator.
Yeah, and it doesn't. It's
Yeah,
not just the modern vernacular. He literally means bloody stabbed.
Yeah, no, yeah, that was my very, very first video on YouTube.
Oh yeah, it was.
My very, very first work.
I'm not
on.
seeing. I'm not sure I've seen your very, very first video.
You should. It's
Well, I think
his
it
whole-
turned
his-
into
yeah, sorry.
a 9-part series, I think, in the end.
And very
Yes,
good
it's
series.
very long,
It's a good
but
series.
it's very long.
Because like Sheldrake, kind of an adult.
He's
When-
a nutter.
oh, yeah.
He uses scientific words to punctuate his stupid.
And he sort of he's kind of like what happened to the dude. What was his name? The guy that tried to say that vitamin C cured everything, like was a panacea.
Linus Pauling.
Yeah, there you go,
Linus
Linus Pauling. Yeah, he kind of did the same thing because he actually was, he was a biologist. Like he lended himself credibility with his ideas by just having the proper credentials to, say, I have at least some expertise in this. But his ideas are all like,
Yeah,
fucking insane.
All the other biologists was like, no.
yeah, like that. There's morphic fields that cells can like basically rewrite themselves and shit.
The thing is,
Well, it's a lot more intricate.
no,
Than
no,
that.
the thing is, morphic fields. The word actually has a meaning in embryology. I think it's embryology. Where it refers to the areas of like a developing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Although it's
that is where
I
it
did a little
got the
bit of
word
research
from.
on it.
Kinda.
Yeah, so it's seen as a common. Sheldrake takes it and implies there's actually a physical field in space that guides all development.
Yes.
And a lot like a Mother Nature's memory or something like that.
Yeah, similar to the idea that Greg Braden and Nassim Haramein collectively both share is the whole like everything you do and everything you think is imprinted on some like etherical, like immeasurable, like imprint on
the universe.
Space.
Pretty much Sheldrake stuff. But Sheldrake, funnily enough, after he did plant biology and embryology at Cambridge, he went to work in India for 20 years and studied Hinduism. And then came back with all this morphic resonance and morphic field.
Thanks, religion.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she said she's fine.
Hey, Smelly,
Okay.
how's your mom doing?
Not mine.
Yeah, no, it's
his.
well.
he had
We're
me
glad to
text
hear
his mom.
His mom is doing well.
Yes, my mom is doing quite well. I spoke to her earlier, as you're all aware.
That's good though.
I'm glad.
She's
I'm glad
doing
you speak to your mom so
swimming.
often.
Yeah.
I speak
This
to her
this has
all
been
the time.
this has been the update on Smelly's mom section of the show.
Hey, I was 11. I was 11 years old.
How she's getting on.
I was I was 11, almost 12 years old when I went to my first big concert, and it was the Rolling Stones with my mom. It was fun. The Rolling Stones, Mick Jagger was in his 60s and was jumping around and clearly exhausted, but he looked like a 12-year-old for most of it because he was changing into clothes that clearly only a 12-year-old would ever wear. He was wearing the children's section at Walmart half the time. I was like, Jesus, dude, you make like billions of dollars. Like,
that doesn't
maybe
mean you
pretend
have
like you know
good
what clothes
fashion,
are.
have good fashion, good taste in fashion.
Well, let's think about it. He grew up and became famous in a time whenever dressing half Victorian was a thing. I mean, go look at any picture of Keith Moon from the earlier days of the Who. Like, the dude was wearing ruffles. I mean, he was wearing what would have become like the staple of the 80s, like in the late 60s.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Ahead of his time.
Yeah.
This has been our fashion.
But then again,
I want
Section
someone
of the
to read
show.
the next part because that part. The next section here is one of the things I've been looking forward to because it's.
Yeah. Yes, I've been reading.
No,
Who else?
stories about Smelly's mom are pretty interesting. So.
That sounded so.
My mom stole a car. My mom stole a car to go to a concert, which was Deep Purple, opening for the Osmonds.
Yeah, see, I told you that. I told you they were interesting.
My mom
stories,
said.
so.
My mom said that whenever she left, now this was in downtown Oklahoma. When she left, 90% of the audience came with her. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody was there for Deep Purple, which seemed like a really weird mix. Deep Purple and the Osmonds? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's funny how
definitely.
Marie. I forget if it was the Osmonds or Donnie and Marie.
Okay.
Wait, weren't they the Osmonds? They are the Osmonds. Never mind. Yeah, Donnie and Marie Osmond.
I didn't even know that.
God, dude, total brain fart. Man, don't get me started on music. I have a bunch of
Okay.
esoteric knowledge because my mom used to play, like, memory games. Let's fucking read. Why am I giving you my life story?
Because it's fucking interesting.
Read
and the
this,
website
read
is
this in
not.
my book that's coming out. Why are you reading this book? Do other stuff.
This is way more. This is way more. I know that Micro wants to get on with it, but
No, it's
your stories are far
no,
more
no.
entertaining.
I actually find the story more interesting. It's more that we have a show, so I try to keep some kind of level of professional. I'm not saying we should move on because
Guys,
I want to.
I know.
I'm saying
Usually,
we should
I'm the
move
one.
on because we should.
all evening, and we have chats, and we do just talk shit for hours and hours and hours. But yeah, we kind of do have a show. And,
Yeah,
It's
I'm
more an odd than
the
a
one
want.
that will like keep the pace going and stopping tangents. But like this is so fucking. It hurts almost going on. But yeah.
No,
Someone has to do it, and it might as well be us.
Yeah, we have to. Okay,
All
I'm
right,
gonna
all
read the next section, get this going, and let's actually fucking charge through this. Otherwise, I am gonna fall asleep.
George.
all right, here we go.
well, the next
A recent
point
study
after
by-
God damn it!
Come on.
yeah,
Okay.
go on.
Okay. A recent study by Douglas McCoon, professor of biological sciences at Vanderbilt University, has shown that seasonal imprinting at or around the moment of birth in mammals affects both subsequent and behavior of the cycling of the neurons in the master biological clock in its brain. That sounds like something so fucking tiny and insignificant that it absolutely has nothing to do with gravity.
So I read this. I clicked the link and went and read the study. Because I was bored.
You won't listen to Smelly enough, clearly.
Yeah, no. What the study was that they took some pregnant mice, and then they gave birth, and then they took the baby mice, and they kept them under light, like a place where they controlled the light, and they either kept them under summer light, the simulated the solar cycle of summer, or the solar cycle of winter. And that impacted later on when they tested some things that impacted their behavior. That is what they're basing this on. They're basing it on a study on mice that has to do with the amount of sun, the amount of light. Like this is not supporting them.
Yeah, but that's
That
like
has
that's very
nothing.
physical.
That
is
has
like
nothing to do with astrology.
Yeah, like the
Now,
difference
I don't know.
living in sun all the time and difference between a planet being on the one side of the solar system and the other side.
Yes.
Two very fucking different things.
Well,
Yeah.
and this
If
kind
you
of, I
can-
don't know if this correlates, correct me if I'm wrong, but there is a disorder that people that work in offices deal with called seasonal effectiveness disorder, like when you don't get a lot of sun.
People just
Yeah,
You don't
get
see the sun
like
very
the
often,
amount of-
especially in like the Northeast.
Yeah, people who don't live in Texas generally get it,
Yeah.
especially in northern climate.
And there is some evidence that when you're, which was also mentioned in the study, there's some evidence that when you're born, like that the amount of sunlight and like you get early on in your development might affect your risk of certain mental things later on. It's a bit iffy. It's a bit iffy if it's actually the case, and
That sounds like one of those things from that spurious correlations page.
Well, it was mentioned in the. Funnily enough, one thing you will notice is that they don't. The link actually doesn't go to the study.
It goes to a fucking article
No, it's the press release
from
the
Vanderbilt.
university.
Yeah.
It's the press release
But
from the university.
is the paper cited or meant?
Yeah. It's. I don't think
Could you reach the literature through going through this article? Is what I'm asking.
I don't know. I searched for it.
It's
Well,
almost as
yeah,
if
but
the
that's
person-
because you know how to search for it. I'm saying because
Well,
the normal person
It's
go
also
through.
because I have access to it through my university. It's it's behind a paywall.
See, I know how to get certain PDFs.
Yeah, good luck getting
through-
Nature Neuroscience.
See, I've never tried. See, that's the
Well, the
thing. I
thing
never
is,
tried,
what-
so I don't know how hard it would be.
What a person ought to do when citing a study is link it to the abstract, which is available.
Yes, link it to the actual study, which they haven't done.
No,
yeah,
they-
that's what I was saying. Like, is there
No,
a way
no,
for you to
they-
actually review anything on it?
They've linked it to the press release, so I imagine they've just read the press release and haven't actually read the paper.
And they're misrepresenting the
Oh,
press
and
release.
just to be clear, I was talking about the astrology thing because they clearly cited it in the article. Just to be plain with that.
So we can go on and say now, so we now have evidence that the time of birth and not conception has impact on personality.
No, we don't.
What you have is evidence that light affects mice at birth.
Yeah.
Now,
No, it's not that they affect them at birth. It's that the early days where the mice the amount of light they get during the early days affects them. So it's not actually tied specifically either to time. Like it's not actually time of birth as such. It's more like birth, sort of the time of birth, very very broadly speaking. When in astrology you have I think it's like even the exact like time of day.
Yeah, it's not only the time of day, but the location.
Where here it's more like it's much broader. Like it's like what season you were born in. Basic like it's more like month and like country.
Yeah, so if you're born in like middle of summer or in spring or in winter and all, astrologers want your precise time, precise location. Yeah,
But the next sentence is brilliant. Whether this imprinting is limited to the effect of the solar cycle, or whether there is that's too much weather. There is also an imprint from the moon and the planets at birth remains open. No, it fucking doesn't.
No. Perhaps until the mechanisms for astrology are better understood. And the next section is called mechanism.
Sorry, but like that is such bullshit. That is a clear misrepresentation of that paper because the paper clearly talks about the amount of light. Like the planets and the moon don't affect the amount of light that much.
Unless it was a full moon, and then you
But
get.
yeah, but like,
No, I'm joking. By the way.
and then we have something about Richard Dawkins. God
Smelly
bless
sugar.
him.
Though I disagree. Oh, and I've started reading.
Yeah,
Though
I like how they.
with Richard Dawkins' personal beliefs, his
Or
expertise.
lack of.
Yeah, good God. His expertise as an evolutionary biologist gives his opinion on human gestation some authority.
Oh, really?
Is that an authority or not? I don't know.
Really? Are you saying that a man who studied biology as a professor in it would know about gestation? No way!
Yeah.
That is far more credible.
I disagree with some of Richard Dawkins' personal beliefs. He probably likes blue cheese, and I don't.
How dare he?
What an
Probably.
asshole.
I don't know that for sure. I'm just.
We better send him angry things on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you know, he lives in London. I don't like London. So, well, does he live in Cayman? No, he lives in London. I
have no idea where the man lives.
No, it's somewhere where I don't live.
lives-
Obviously, we agree there.
I just know that I've had to read books by his ex-wife. That's
Laurel Ward.
no, the other one.
I was
Wait,
gonna
is
say
that his- is that his
he's
wife
still
now?
married to Laura Ward.
Okay, hey man, I wasn't sure. I don't keep up with the man's personal affairs.
No, his ex-wife is I think she's an ethologist. Like she studies animal behavior. Well, at least I had to read a book for a course in animal behavior about that was written by her and some other person.
Hey, does anybody else love that he's bullet pointed certain logical fallacies alongside?
Yeah, that is quite hilarious.
Yeah.
I just realized that now.
He's tried to be scientific about this whole thing, but
I love how he gave the common vernacular in the UK for a straw man argument. The Aunt Sally.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, that is what it's called in the UK.
I've
Okay.
never heard that.
Regardless,
Well, maybe
regardless if that's what it's called, it's just funny that they felt the need to do that. Like the proper name wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you for
I
clarifying.
think it is a British site because it also used, as we discussed last time at length, it also uses the British spelling of skeptic.
Oh,
As we will
that's
see
right.
in the next sentence, actually.
Well, then that means
That is
never
called
mind.
segment.
He shows the name of a magazine. Never mind. Because they're anyway. Continue in that side thing. He cites a magazine called Skeptical Inquirer, but I did not read that far. I just noticed that it's spelled skeptic with a K, but he's referring to the title of something. So keep going.
Even though the arc skeptic with a C did not have astrology in mind, and the arc skeptic here being Richard Dawkins, he was unequivocal. I hate that word. Like reading it on the topic in the God delusion. The moment of birth provides a natural Rubicon. What the fuck does that mean? For defined rules. I've never heard that word.
Like
Rubicon is actually
it's
a
like
river.
a metric, used. Like it's like a. There you go.
I told you it's a river.
It's a river.
Yeah.
You don't want to believe me.
No, yeah, okay. Let's have that.
It's also a brand of capacitor.
For defining rules, and one could argue that it is hard to find anyone earlier in the embryonic development. I have no idea what that had to do with the section. Like this whole section just seems like it's Richard Dawkins disagreed with me. Ooh.
Quote mine. It's basically quote mine, isn't it? Because even
It's a quote mine.
I have no idea okay, if it is a quote mine, which I have no idea if it is. I want that quote mine to collapse.
He says even though the arch skeptic did not have astrology in mind, he was unequivocal on the topic in the God delusion. So, I mean, he's talking about something that's got nothing to do with astrology, probably about something else entirely. Certainly not.
Yeah, so it's a quote mine telling you it's a quote mine.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
I think if I remember from that part of the book, what he's talking about is that we don't start coming up with moral rules or rules for behavior until we are born. Like, there's nothing in our embryonic state that would help us create future behavior. Which makes sense, because there's no stimuli, really.
Yeah. And
So,
I mean,
At least not, yeah, not in the sense that we like.
He's pretty
we're
much
not
saying we
gonna
don't have
make-
a
We're
soul.
not gonna make like moral decisions at that point. Like there
Yeah.
are things that will influence our behavior.
yeah, this is more or less saying we don't have a soul. Like, before we are
Having-
born, we don't make these decisions.
yeah, and apparently Rubicon, being a river,
It just means a large pass to
across the
cross.
Rubicon, it means,
Oh.
yeah, take a decisive or irrevocable step because it comes from some road.
Yeah. I didn't want to interject. Anyway,
On
so
this
yeah.
show, that also that on this show you can interject. That would be so rude.
Parts of the rules.
And to talk about, y'all were talking about quote mining or whatever, or basically redefining what somebody meant by their quote, which I think was the point y'all were trying to get at. There's a lot of people that could be easily taken out of context. There's a lecture given by Richard Feynman where he essentially says that some woo, I can't remember the exact words.
This is worse for talking in terms of woo-woo because they're all.
Oh yeah, he's so easily quote mined.
And there's no native language for quantum physics or relativity. So you take
sort of spoke
a radical thinker who's so deep in their field, talking about something there's no native language for, and it's a quote minefield essentially.
Schrodinger has a whole book that's easily quote mined. It's I think it's called What is Life?
Well, fuck it.
Yeah,
Look
Niels
at how-
Bohr and Werner Heisenberg were essentially they created the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics, which is what everybody who's a woo peddler uses to validate all their woo, is the Copenhagen interpretation. And yeah, but it's only an interpretation. It doesn't mean it's true.
Oh my
but
God,
the
he
thing-
quotes Carl Sagan next.
Oh god.
Yeah. But if you work hard enough, you can quote mine anyone. But if you don't even have to work that hard to have, like Albert Einstein, brilliant for quote mines, in a very specific to him way, but in a way that other people say that physicists can, physics proves God, and Michio Kaku's another one. He does have some vague spiritual belief about something. He was he's got some.
Oh yeah, just listen to any video where he pontificates about God and connecting it to his work as a physicist.
Yeah,
He's
but then
done it like 12 times.
he does interviews where he says he was brought up in a Christian school with Buddhist parents, and so that affects the way he interprets physics. And
and there's a book. I've read a few of his books, and there's one that actually starts with a little anecdote about his life, where he's like. He went into his garage and basically just made a collider or something. I can't remember if it was a small collider or
like a particle accelerator, basically.
Something. Yeah. I don't want to say that that's exactly what it was, but I'm almost positive that's what it was, and basically blew all the fuses in his house. And
I think
cool.
Somewhere in there, he ends up mentioning a spiritual belief or some shit. And he's done it a few other times. It's just he does it a lot. Fuck, there's a BBC series on Cosmos where.
And he did the Morgan Freeman thing as well. But you find that he in particular, out of all the but physicists do this quite a lot, is they're very radical thinkers and they're very buried deep in their field, and they use very strange terminology and like Kaku believes in the kind of spiritual cosmic consciousness to some degree at least, and maybe other physicists don't, but like Feynman certainly didn't, and Einstein didn't, but the words he used to pontificate upon interpretations of physics is very quote mark.
Pretty flowery. Yeah.
That's the
Very-
best
Well, you know-
I've ever heard. Pretty flowery.
I want to say something real quick. I think it's hilarious. Okay, there was in 2015 there was that Connected Universe. I'll put documentary and heavily roll my eyes and use big air quotes documentary by Nassim Haramein called The Connected Universe, and I was reading into it trying to find a copy of it. And would any of you like to guess who narrated the film? It's going to make you very sad.
Who?
At least it made me very sad. Patrick Stewart.
Oh no! I thought he was the smart one.
And just like they got, who was it that they got? They got somebody from fucking Red Dwarf to be the narrator for some other pseudoscience.
I know they got the captain from Voyager to read like a flat Earth thing, but she was basically tricked into him.
Oh, God.
But I mean, both like Leonard Nimoy and Shatner are like Nimoy did. What's it called? He had like the thing. I think it was like he had like a series where he. In Search of, that's what it was called. And Shatner is just an idiot. Like, no, seriously, Shatner recently decided to decided to support a campaign by some organization that patient organization for autism. But then when people, including people who were autistic, told him that group has a very shady past and associated with anti-vax and hasn't really denounced it, he got very defensive. And then when Dr. David Gorski, who's an actual MD and skeptical blogger, basically told him why people were getting upset with him. William Shatner decided to Google Dr. Gorski's name, and of course what he found was all the smear campaigns from sites like Natural News, and then posted the links from Natural News as a defense.
Yeah, he's an idiot.
Mike Adams would be so proud.
Exactly. And Spock would be disappointed.
Well, it's just funny that the most logical being, supposedly in the galaxy, in real life,
No,
was
he's
tricked
not the most logical being in the galaxy. Remember, he's half human, so he can't control his emotions.
That's right. That's right. Because
this is we really need to get
I
back.
haven't watched Star Trek in so long, dude.
Right, yeah, I'm bored about Star Trek. I never liked it. Shit.
Yeah, I got into it in the later stuff, and I tried to watch the old shit, and it's like being a fan of Battlestar Galactica and trying to force yourself to watch, I think it was the 70s series. It's like, oh, their acting is so bad.
I tried to get my watch to watch Next Generation. Didn't go well.
Well, not to say that the BSG acting from the most recent run was much better, but at least the characters were.
One of the objections to astrology is that there is no scientific mechanism to account for how it all works. Mechanism, okay? It is the strongest objection to astrology. No, the strongest objection is that it doesn't work. And you haven't shown it work. Know that something works without knowing how it works.
Yeah, the links underlined as mechanism actually links to a page on the same site. Talks about mechanism and most of the same points that we're about to see.
It is not,
Anyway,
but it is not, as we will see, a scientific argument. No. What do they even mean by a scientific argument? It is an argument, and it is a valid argument saying that we don't know how this works. So potentially there could be some other mechanism that isn't what astrology proposes. Like that it doesn't have anything to do with the planets and the positions of stars and shit.
And really all it does is help aid in the elimination of Morgellons.
Exactly.
Get it? Because it doesn't exist.
Yeah, I got it. It comes down to the question of plausibility. Yeah, and it's not very plausible, which is Which is cannot be. That is not proper English. Which is cannot be. Objectively
Where's
measured.
that?
Right here. The possibility which is cannot be.
Which is
Oh, I think they. Yeah, well, you know.
That is no, sorry. That is not.
Which is, both does, is, and, you know, those are all words that definitely.
Objectively measured. Yeah, you can. Actually, you can, to a large extent, objectively measure plausibility. That it's used in. Oh, what's it called? It starts with a B. Fuck. It's something that's done in statistics where you measure the prior plausibility of something being true. It's called like Bayesian.
Bayesian. Yes,
Yeah.
Bayesian theory, yes.
Yeah, that is like, if you actually read papers where they use that, they actually use quite objective measures to figure out what number to put into that equation.
Yes, they
And
do.
it's therefore mainly based on personal beliefs.
And it works.
I love that the bottom fallacy that we can see is argument by laziness, uninformed opinion, and most of this is just that.
Yeah, it is.
I'm really excited to get to the Carl Sagan thing because I don't know how he's using it. I just saw his name. I didn't read further. I want this to be a treat.
Yeah. Right, so it comes down to the question. Oh, yeah, we've done that. So, is the lack of mechanism justification for dismissing a phenomenon?
No, it's not. I
Well, it
literally
depends.
just said that you can know that something works without knowing how it works.
Yeah, well,
Well,
exactly.
yeah,
If-
people believe in God by that same measure.
If you've got data to suggest that something
That's it.
is at work,
I
then
mean,
it's fine.
That's what we do
Not
with
know the
like.
mechanism to see that it's a thing. Whereas with astrology, you don't have data to suggest that anything is at work.
Exactly.
So
Like,
that not knowing the mechanism
Yeah,
for a non-event isn't.
yeah,
The most basic description is like we can explain to you, or anyone could explain really, if you just take it apart, exactly how a wind-up toy works.
well, it's more
You know,
like
it's two gears that wind up a battery, not a battery, a rubber band, and eventually you let go of the key and the rubber band just retracts, spinning the gears, which in turn rotates the tires. Like, this is something we can explain the mechanism by which the car moves.
Yeah, but this is more like saying that
Yeah.
like they're basically using like an example. We don't know what dark energy is or dark matter, for that sake. Like those two, we don't know what those two things are and how
But they're
exactly how they work. But we know that they are there. We can see the effects.
Because of the implication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas in astrology, we don't know how it works, and we have no evidence that it's actually a thing.
Yeah, essentially.
Well, I mean, come
Yeah.
on. I'm
No
a
one is
cancer.
using this argument that we don't know an mechanism on its own. It's a supporting argument that we have no idea. Like, the lack of a mechanism is to some extent an argument against astrology.
But it's just one of many. It's part of
but
the body of.
it has to be
Against
used in
astrology,
conjunction with.
isn't it? And that astrology
Yeah.
has no data to suggest that there's a phenomena that needs explaining with a mechanism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what are you explaining better than something else could?
Okay, several
Exactly.
examples should make the point that the lack of known mechanism, that a lack of there's missing an A there. That a lack of known mechanism.
It kind of works in really formal contracted English.
Yeah, okay, yeah. It's never a reason to dismiss evidence. No, who's like C.4 evidence.
What? Hang on, 0.4.
Yeah,
where?
but it's
No, it's down. It's
That's
much
like
further down. It's
which is now 0.6. This is 0.4. We're in 0.4.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
Didn't even realize that.
They didn't proofread this, did they? So
Rhetoric,
well,
so
our hyperlink is clearly.
My turn.
Yeah. No, it
Yeah.
can be. I just like we hadn't heard from you in a while. I thought you might.
Oh no, you guys are doing great without me.
Well, it's your turn.
We want you to participate.
Micro, the guys in the comments are sort of insulting you.
Oh no.
4.
I wouldn't leave it.
He might be
Big Dickinson, both.
So, yeah. I think Micro's definitely having a bit of a. Well, I mean, he is only a brain in a jelly blob, so there's got to be some.
Actually, I don't think I could have a stroke.
Yeah, you can. Strokes are brain bits.
Yeah, no, but strokes would mean that I would get like I don't have in my anatomy I don't have a blood vessel that goes into my brain. It's all diffusion, not diffusion. It's a different system. I know my anatomy the anatomy of the blood way too much. I've gone into way too much detail with that inside my head and on paper.
Yeah.
Wow.
See, this is why I went simple. I'm just a cat with a bow tie. Fucking just nice
I'm
and
a
simple.
fucking
No, you're not just
purple
cat with a
I went simple to begin with, but I'm a fucking biology nerd. I can't help myself.
No, exactly. It's, so the jelly blob is Micro's expertise, and the spinning bow tie is just ultra cool.
Yeah. Fortunately,
I think
none of
it's
you
a-
have a bow tie, so.
So I think Mr. Cat with the bow
Was it
tie.
Matt
is your turn.
Smith, the 11th or 12th Doctor?
Actually, I think
I think he's a 12.
Dan should read this because it is somewhat geology related.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
George, oh my god. Well, recent developments have led to my interest going into electricity. Well, yeah, maybe videos of that will happen maybe soon. No promises.
Cool.
The lodestone, which is well, there's no.
I think that's magnetite.
Yeah, it sometimes is referred to magnetite, but there's a lot of versions of magnetite that's not magnetic at all. It's just highly
Oh,
ferrous.
okay, so it refers to magnetized magnetite.
Yeah, I mean, which
That's
I mean,
fun to say.
magnetized magnetite. That is pretty fun to say. Like if you look at what's the word? Hematite. Hematite is usually not magnetized at all because of the alignment of the crystals in it is too amorphous. It's lacking of alignment.
It throws
Yeah,
off the
exactly.
chi. You know what I'm saying? It gets all the
Yeah.
chakras out of alignment. He needs some amethyst or maybe.
Did you know that there are woo people who claim that if you put amethyst in your drink, it won't get you slobberingly drunk. You will only feel a slight buzz from it.
Oh god! Obviously, they must.
I
be
think
people
that's
who do
just
that.
a true excuse to be a lush.
I would really like to test
Or
that, but I
alcohol.
don't drink, so I can't really.
There's
Anyways,
there's probably just some like slobbering alcoholic out there who was like, I need a reason to be able to still drink, and that excuse was born.
huh? The lodestone compass. No.
It can be used to make a primitive compass, but it is not a compass in itself.
There you go. Was used successfully for 2 millennia, yet no one
Yes.
understood the Earth's magnetic field in the 20th century. That is bullshit. Because the Earth's magnetic field was at least understood to an extent way earlier than that. I'm thinking 16th century.
I mean, the fact that you can use a compass means you have at least some understanding that there's something there.
Yeah, you've got some data to then have to propose a mechanism for. don't you?
Yeah, that is very important. What you just said there was sport, because you can pick a compass of a lodestone, and no matter where the fuck you are on Earth, no matter what you do, every single time you'll have the same result. You can tell someone, listen, I'm stand here, you stand in the next country, you do exactly this, and they will get the same result as you. You can't do that with astronomy or astrology.
No. No, astrology.
Yeah, astrology. You can't.
Astronomy's fake.
It's
Goddamn astronomy. All this chemistry ruining my alchemy.
They took my kids away.
Oh shit! Give me back my philosophy. Take away all this physics.
Which they actually did. They did take Alex Jones' kids away.
Didn't they?
Oh well,
They
okay.
did.
We're
They
making
did
it
do
sound
that.
like they raided his house. He just lost a custody case.
Yeah, but it sounds funnier if and in order to, in his argument to, in attempt to not lose custody of his kids.
I'm a performance artist.
Yeah, he basically said that he was a performance artist. So and
Did anybody?
everything
Okay, so he
said was
walked back.
basically lies.
Exactly. His attorney tells him, "Hey, just say this, and you'll get away with it," quote unquote, or maybe not. No direct terms did he say those exact words, but he basically told him, "Hey, tell him you're a performance artist." That was the defense they came up with, and then he walked that fucking argument back on a little small video he released on his channel, which has I think since been deleted. Then he had to go on record in court again and say it. So he walked back his walk back. And then his first show, after everything was said and done, he walked back his walk back, his walk back. So this man should be in great shape with all the fucking walking he's been doing.
No, it's surprising he's such a fat ass.
Well, yeah, dude, have you looked at the before and after of his male vitality results? He looks fatter. He looks in way worse shape.
Have you seen him as young? He used to be a bodybuilder. He used to
look like Bill Hicks.
He used to be fit.
Is that like going back and watching Schwarzenegger praise Hitler and all those old workout videos, or where he compares himself to Jesus and shit?
No, I'm just saying that like Alex Jones actually used to be quite good shape.
Well, what's his have you guys ever watched Cult of Dusty?
Yeah, that was the same thing I was saying with Cult of Dusty. Yeah, he used to be a fatty.
Yeah, he used to be a fatty. He talks about how being a fucking nutbag is what made him fat. That's his
thing. Maybe
that's his
it
claim is like
contributed,
I was,
but I
you
don't
know.
I don't think the implication there was that Christianity made him fat.
No. He never says Christianity. He says it's not baggery. He was like a big Alex Jones fan and a big like
he was a conspiracy theorist.
I think he used to be might be a bit iffy there. He's still like when Leonard, like for example, like when Leonard Nimoy died, just to bring it back to that, Dusty basically came out and like said, I love what he's done for Reason and Logic, but he was Jewish.
What?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus. You talk about putting your foot in your mouth.
Anyways, let's read on. Semmelweis. I have no idea. Sorry to any Germans watching. Actually, I know we have one.
Wasn't Semmelweis the guy that came up with like early, like what became the foundation for which medical, like scientific medicine was built on?
No idea. Introduced hygienic practices like hand washing in obstetric clinics. He was ridiculed by other scientists as he could not provide a mechanism, even though he reduced the mortality rate. Yet it became accepted practice years after he died when research confirmed germ theory. Yeah, the thing is, he wasn't ridiculed by other scientists. He was ridiculed by other doctors.
Well, regardless of if they were doctors or scientists, their ridicule had nothing to do because eventually a mechanism for the process was eventually covered.
Well, and in a way, you should be, if you come up with a crazy idea, you should be ridiculed for it, even if it turns out to be right at the end, if you don't have a way to show that you're right now. Like, he could have been right by accident.
Yeah, that's what the whole peer review testing and retesting. I mean, that's kind of what peer review is. It just took a while.
And I mean,
kind of what getting a doctorate is as well, because you have to defend. I don't have a doctorate, but from what I understand, is that in order to part of your getting a doctorate, as long as it's not a doctor mill kind of diploma mill bullshit, come up with your thesis, and then you have to defend it by experts trying to poke holes.
I mean, you have to defend your fucking bachelor's thesis.
Yeah, well, fair enough.
Yeah, it's kind of just the step that proves that you understand the not only the body of work you've been studying, but how you come to these conclusions and how the body of work itself was built.
You understand it enough that you cannot because there's a difference between understanding to the point that you can write like a big assignment on it, a big essay on it, a big like paper, and there's a difference between that and being able to write. Being able to present it. You have to really know the subject and know what's important to be able to do that. But no, to get my bachelor's, when I defended my bachelor's project, it was my professor, and then I think it was basically the CEO of like a small Danish biotech company. Like, you have to defend that shit.
Chill.
Well, no, it's
Well, yeah, duh. Oh no, I was kidding. It was
no. But
you just mentioned
not biotech.
No.
Not biotech in that sense.
Not like the sheep biotech.
No, not as in biotech, as in agricultural Monsanto biotech, as in I think he worked with something like it's like water transporting proteins.
You don't have to
Smelly.
Okay.
Smelly, do you want to read this? I think you should read this.
Yes, I do. That's all right. That we can now think of no mechanism for astrology is.
No, Smelly, can you do a Carl Sagan?
Yeah, I was about to say you need to read it as Carl Sagan.
Dude, I'm gonna try. This is gonna be.
Yeah, just try. Just try.
That we can now think of no. See, I can't do it. I'm starting to think of Kermit the Frog too much, and it's just.
Then read it as Kermit the Frog.
No, I see. That's the other thing. I can't do it. I can't do a Kermit the Frog.
No, listen, Smelly. Read it as Sean Carroll, because if you took Sean Carroll's face away from what he said, he's a theoretical physicist.
I know.
Then I can only imagine.
I can't remember Sean Carroll's face, dude, or his voice.
Yeah, just do Kermit the Frog and say you're Sean Carroll, and you'll be fine.
Dude, to be honest with you, I kind of wish I had Michio Kaku's voice. He has a nice voice. Okay, I'm just gonna read. I'll read it as Alex Jones.
Go on then, Alex Jones. Stick with you.
That we can now think of no mechanism for astrology is relevant but unconvincing. No mechanism was known. For example, for continental drift, when it was proposed by. See, it's kind of blurry. Is that?
I think
Wagner.
Wagner?
Dan,
I'll say it's Wagner.
Dan, you have to know this.
Yeah, Dan. How do you say his name? I really don't want to butcher this too much. I am reading it as Alex Jones.
Because every country has a different pronunciation.
I think he's German.
Well, it'd be Vinegar.
Wagner?
Vinegar.
Wegener, sorry.
Dan, you're muted.
What it was
Call him Vinegar.
Alex Jones never says it right, so I won't. Proposed by Wagenorio. Nevertheless, we see that Wegener was right. Sorry, I can't do that anymore. And those who objected on the grounds of unavailable mechanism were wrong. But again, he's not really saying that just because he couldn't prove it, he was wrong. What he was saying was eventually he was exonerated for holding this belief because it happened to be true, and we were only able to test it later on. Whenever.
I think we need to bring up another Carl Sagan quote about the fact
I mean, it comes
one
out
about laugh. They also laughed at Bozo the clown.
Yeah.
No, but didn't Carl Sagan just outright say in one of his major public documentaries that astrology is
Cosmos
bullshit?
Yes,
the fourth installment of the original 1970s Cosmos run is about astrology. It's the fourth episode. If anyone wants to go try to find it,
and he says astrology is basically pseudoscience based on nonsense or something.
Read the thing at the last line I highlighted.
Oh yeah, the Carl Sagan, astronomer, author, cosmologist, broadcaster, and astrology skeptic.
Yeah.
There
you have it.
Yeah, I thought that was brilliant.
That indicator of a quote mine again above, because if he's an astrology skeptic, he won't be praising astrology for.
Apparently we all pronounced the name wrong according to the German in the chat.
Oh yeah.
Well, I appreciate him letting us know, because, and I mean that genuinely. But but you do have to realize I purposefully at the end said his name with too many.
No, he said none of us pronounced it wrong. Pronounced it right.
Really?
Why are these two letters in bold?
Bolded? Yeah.
That's
I thought that was just like a bad internet connection. It just wasn't coming through clearly.
No, it is.
No. It's an abuse.
See, but I do find
it's not abuse.
I find
Abuse.
this last sentence to be I find it to be rather interesting, especially the way that it's worded. So, to use a lack of known mechanism to reject a demonstrable effect, that's the first thing that's kind of funny, is to abuse science. You haven't even tried to prove that it is a science, and an obstructive rather than to whoa.
Yeah, that's
in an obstructive. I think they meant in an obstructive manner.
Yeah,
rather.
That's the missing
That's the
word.
Rather than use science in a constructive way, but that doesn't.
Has he met scientists?
Yeah. Scientists
are some of the most obstructive people you will ever meet because everything has to be tested.
Well, yeah, but I think
scientists get paid for saying, "Are you sure?"
Well, what he
I'm
obviously he reckons that using science in a constructive way is by saying something like, "What if astrology is true? Maybe we could look."
Yeah, that's exactly. It's like he wants to test what ifs, and I mean, yeah, sometimes that is useful, but I mean, in this instance, there is no what if to test. Like, we wouldn't even know how to approach testing some of these ideas. Because all conventional all conventional ways have been basically unable to produce any reproducible data.
He's basically using science the same way that spirit science is using science.
Well, and I think that's kind of the implication with this entire section with mechanism, is to prove that just because we can't prove it now, we'll be able to prove it later, which is why I think he brought up the continental drift argument and all of these other things that he's going to bring up as possible mechanisms coming on. Is he basically just tries to paint the idea that just because we can't test it doesn't mean it isn't going to eventually be testable.
I'm back. Sorry.
There's actually a term for that, but
yeah, there is a term for it. I can't remember.
But that kind of defeats his whole entire point, because he's trying to provide some sort of evidence, but he essentially just admitted in the last part that there isn't any.
Apparently, being bigot is a common logical fallacy. Common fallacies. Bigot. No, that is not a logical fallacy.
Well, that would be more of what is it? Whenever you don't believe a guy just because he did something stupid in his past, like a.
No, a bigot is a person who is, as it says, utterly intolerant of any different creed, belief, or opinion. It's basically being a jerk.
But I think
that is not a common fallacy. That is not a fallacy.
Oh no, it's not a fallacy. But what I'm saying is his like, I guarantee his urging, the idea that forced him to put that in there is the whole I'm not accepting your idea just because I think you were stupid. What's that called? Fucking holy shit. It's not really ad hominem.
It's a genetic fallacy.
It's a what?
Genetic fallacy. You dismiss it because of the source.
Okay. That's exactly what I mean, though. Yeah. I know it's not ad hom because it's more like.
That's like
isn't ad hom like you're wrong because you have a dick nose?
Yeah, that would be an yeah. Yeah. Possible
Your nose is
mechanisms.
shaped like a dick, therefore all your information is wrong.
Astrology may work by several mechanisms, or it might not work, which seems to be the case. Here's some hypotheses. At least they're not calling it theories.
Well, that's smart.
And at least they knew the plural
It's intellectually honest.
Of hypothesis. I have seen people who instead of writing hypotheses, write hypothesis.
Yeah, with like an apostrophe S or just an apostrophe.
No. As in they write it S-I-S.
Oh, like I-S-E-S?
Yeah. I have seen that. And I hate it.
Well, it actually took me a while to be able to remember that as a kid and like growing up, like in high school or whatever. Whenever I was in science classes, I made the same mistake. But I mean, it's just one of those words. Like the first time I heard hippopotamus, I was like, "Wow, that sounds fucking stupid." Same thing with Tennessee. Like, there's too many consonants.
I don't believe in hippopotamuses or in elephants or in tigers or lions. I've never seen them before.
Coming from a Welsh,
zoos exist, right?
Since you're Welsh, you're obviously a viable source. So I'm going to believe
the only two animals that the only 4 animals that had beliefs in is owls, cats, adders, and sheep.
No, you're forgetting the small rodents. I definitely believe in those.
Oh yeah, that too. But adders and sheep, because it's Wales.
Yeah.
Well, considering I've never seen your owl pellets, I can't even assume that you eat food or know what a rodent is.
Am I mixing something up? Am I right in assuming that there are a lot of adders in Wales?
Yeah, there's adders in Wales.
Okay.
Is adder a snake?
Yeah.
What is an adder?
In fact, adder comes from the Welsh word for snake, in fact.
Oh.
Okay, cool.
No, an adder is it's both a species of snake, European adder, a common adder, but it's also like a whole group of snakes.
Yeah,
it's basically like one of the more advanced, more evolved, more derived. That's the word. Groups of venomous snakes.
A derivative.
And
yeah, it's the one. It's the one where the fang. I think that's the one where the fangs, like when the mouth is closed, they point backwards and they sort of swing out when they open up.
Yeah, I think so.
Like a switchblade.
But the word adder comes from the Welsh for snake, nader, and what the English love to do is they put an nader, and then it transposes into an adder in the end. It's the same with orange. In Spanish was naranja.
Yeah, a nickname too.
And naranja, and it became an orange. So it's the same with because obviously Welsh was spoken in Britain long before English. So nader is the word for any kind of snake. And in Britain we don't have too many snakes. We have grass snakes.
You basically have two, I think.
Nader was also the last name of an American politician.
But yeah, what you're seeing here, that's these snakes are a common adder.
Those are adder. In Britain, at least, you get 3 types of adder. You get the sand with the black zigzag.
But they're all the same species.
And the black zigzag. Yeah, well, exactly. You get 3 colorations, but you get black adders as well, and they're very cool. They're just
see out here. Out here, you have to worry about two.
Yeah, in America,
isn't a viper and a rattlesnake a kind in the kind of more generic group of adder? Is that just me being funny?
Well, now as far as my experience with snakes here in this beautiful state I live in, totally not being sarcastic. Yeah, that totally looks badass. It looks like what they based. They must have based like most of the dragons from How to Train Your Dragon on that thing. Holy shit! I just sounded like a nerd.
Look at its eyes! Oh my god!
I just want to feed it mice all day.
That is fucking beautiful.
I won't.
Okay, so rattlesnakes are.
I'm downloading this image and using it as a background.
Indonesian awesome adder, brilliant. So Smelly, can I ask you? Have you seen the British sitcom called Blackadder?
Isn't Blackadder the show about the dudes in the bookstore?
No.
No, Blackadder was the show with Rowan Atkinson.
Yeah.
And
He
it went
played like
all
a
through
fucking like butler or some shit, right?
Yeah, well,
forget what he
Blackadder
did.
1 was way back in the past, and Blackadder 2, it goes all through history, and the most recent one, Blackadder Goes Forth, was about World War One.
See, I think I've only seen the one that
most-
took place in the Middle Ages. If I'm being honest.
Yeah. There's one where Blackadder was a butler, along with Stephen. Well, Stephen Fry was in almost all of them, I think.
You know who I'm a big fan of? I can't think of his name, but it's Steven something. The guy that was in 24-Hour Party People.
No. Wait a minute. I think I've seen that.
It's a great movie
No.
about like New Wave in England during
No, I've
in
not.
the like late 80s, I think.
Okay, that picture is now my background.
Oh fuck! What was his goddamn name? Steven something.
Do you know,
He was also in. He did a movie with Rob Brydon called The Trip.
Why do Americans know all the names of actors? Ever?
It's a big thing over there.
Because our culture is so entrenched in bullshit. Like seriously, whenever I was young, I could name more rock stars than I could historical figures. I probably still could.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, when I was young, who was it? There was a, there was someone famous in the early 90s that I learned about. He was named after a historical figure. Yeah,
it's like watching a movie with your parents.
Steve Coogan.
Where they go.
Steve Coogan.
Oh, it's that guy who. When he played with her. What's her name?
Yeah, it's 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. It's like whenever I was in high school and theater, me and my theater teacher used to play that all the time. Like he would single me out because I know a shitload about pop culture.
Really?
I grew up watching movies. Yeah, dude, I was the black.
But do we know about gravitational resonance?
Oh, dude, I mean, whenever I studied it at Cambridge, you know.
Hey, let's find out about gravitational resonance, eh?
Okay. Gravitational resonance. Many critics of astrology have repeated the story that the gravity of the midwife has more effect on the newborn baby than the planets. Yeah, that was kind of a point that was literally one of the first points made in the episode of Cosmos on astrology. He was like, the gravity of the obstetrician was much more effective. He may have been, Mars is very, very large, but the obstetrician was much, much closer.
Yeah, the only planet that affects you when you're born on Earth is Earth.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of the planet you're sitting on.
Exactly. Well, you could argue that the moon has a very big effect, seeing as your mother's usually got no clothes on the bum.
I wonder how the tide in my body is affected by this.
No, not at all. That's like the idea that tides would affect the water inside your body is laughable.
Ludicrous.
Like
I'm telling you, I'm getting heartburn.
Your heart is more than enough to overcome like the beating of your heart. And just you moving it around is more than enough to overcome.
Well, gravity beats your heart, tenfold though.
Yeah, well,
hang somebody upside down and see if their legs don't lose all the blood.
Oh yeah, gravity is the weakest force that we know. But so for the moon to have an effect on tidal effect on your body, you would have to be as big as a planet for the differential between the pull of the moon on one side of your body to the other.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's what Bill O'Reilly really kind of brought to the public domain in that beautiful thing, tides go in, tides go out. You can't explain that. So yes, we can. Tidal effects of gravity.
Yeah, but Bill O'Reilly doesn't, he doesn't understand it, so it's not real.
Exactly, but that brought to the forefront of a lot of people's discussion just how exactly gravity makes the tides work, and that was a great thing, even though he didn't intend it to be in that way.
Bill O'Reilly accidentally teaching science to people.
Well,
yep,
exactly.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
The only good thing the man has ever done.
So you do have to be quite a large size from one end to the other to have.
Did you know that Bill O'Reilly once sexually harassed a female co-worker who had only had one arm. True story.
The fuck?
Did you know that if you go look at that clip from Bill O'Reilly freaking out, I'm pretty sure it's on Inside Edition, which is a pop culture news show. Pretty sure it was from Inside Edition. Somebody should go look that up.
The fuck it, do it live.
We're technically supposed to be ending now.
Yeah, and I gotta get ready for work. Yeah.
So, do we want to do a part 3 or?
No,
we should. I think we should, because there's in the next section there's some funny stuff.
Yeah, we need to, because this guy actually does that very few other womongers do, and that is cite studies.
You know what? Yeah, because they do that, I think we should give them. We're gonna make it a free part, folks.
Oh, he brings up Wolfgang Pauli. That's hilarious. I can't wait to see what he says there.
So does this mean we have to do our research before we come next time?
Well,
At least a little bit.
No.
At least a little bit. At least do some Wikipedia, some Wiki research. Do some Wiki research, bro. Wiki research. Dude, I wonder. You know, I was thinking about this last night. I was looking up some stuff on Nassim Haramein, and I kept getting Rational Wiki, fucking selection. So I was like, you know what, fuck it, let's go see what they say. And when I was reading, which every skeptic has been through there, of course, but I was thinking about it as I was reading the page. Is there like a mirror opposite version of Rational Wiki? Like, is there like a Woo Wiki? Okay, I want to go through that.
There's the conservative wiki.
Yeah, Rational Wiki was set up as a response to conservative media.
See, when it comes to matters of those types of affairs, I tend to not give too much of a fuck. Like, everybody's freaking out. Like, have y'all noticed the whole Chris Reagan, Lacey Green nonsense going on?
What do you mean?
Only
everybody freaking out because they've hung out or they're dating or something.
They're dating, yeah. Which is like, okay, yeah. I don't care. Why should I care?
I just found out about that yesterday. Like, I so don't give a shit. And the Logan Paul thing with the diss track, just found out about that yesterday. Like, I just don't.
The problem with that isn't that we don't care. The problem is that they made it a big deal. Like, they both, I think, Chris Reagan, like, made a couple of videos. Like, he wants it.
Well, he did the fan fiction thing.
Yeah. Showing my naivete, but who?
Yeah, exactly. That's what most people should be.
Yeah. They're two YouTubers, and I really like two YouTubers.
Look, I really like Chris's content. I think he's funny. He has a good personality. Lacey, I like her science stuff.
Yeah, I like her sex ed stuff. That's pretty good.
As a presenter, she's very likable, and she has a very good presence on camera, other than that dead look on her face that only seems to be making the smile bigger and bigger. But I mean, who gives a shit? Like, I mean, if they're gonna date, fucking, why do you care?
Yeah, like, apparently people care a lot about two other people's having sex or dating. Like, or you could just let them do what they want to do. Like, they're not hurting anyone. Like, the two consenting adults.
With celebrity culture, that every time some fucking idiot from the royal family has like a wedding or a baby, people are like talking about it. I'm like, who? What? Baby? What the fuck?
Yeah,
didn't there's a royal baby.
Her little sister just get married or some shit?
They don't give a shit. Two people
are
Well, I do think there's a little bit more to this than just two random celebrities. It's like as if Bill O'Reilly started dating Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, okay, yeah, there is the fact that they...
But here's the thing, like...
That would be a power couple.
That would be a power couple.
But
it'd be weird just because there's
frivolous.
Yeah, I mean, no, I understand why you shouldn't care, but there's more to it than just two fame. Like, there's... I think you're misrepresenting what...
Yeah, okay, yeah. It's because they're from two very different... They have
very different ideologies.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, right now I'm currently dating
ideologies
a Christian
are
girl.
one thing, but ideologies are just ideas that...
Well, no, they have two very blatant ideologies that they have both used to make...
Opposing ideologies.
Yeah.
No, but they both openly talked about, like, their YouTube channels are their ideologies.
Yeah, but only on YouTube.
Okay, yeah, fair
maybe.
Yeah, and only on YouTube. And that's the thing. They're probably. I sincerely doubt that. These both seem like smart enough people that I sincerely doubt that both of them believe this crap that they both spew.
I mean, they're obviously able to get along.
So
Anyway,
Well, that's like kind
we
of
can have
it's
this
kind of like
discussion offline. This is completely irrelevant. I think
It
we
is
should end it
totally
now.
irrelevant.
See you next time, guys. Bye.
Bye.
bye guys. Thanks for